Welcome back. So we are dedicating the whole show today to understanding fear. It's an inevitable part of life, but in some situations, fear can be so overwhelming it becomes something else. I talked with Dr. Leo Flanagan about the difference between fear and phobia.
It's pretty simple. Fear is functional. It protects us. It has us react appropriately to danger. And phobia is dysfunctional. It interferes with our lifestyle. It is an unreasonable level of fear about something that could be very ordinary. It could be fear of heights, could be fear of snakes, could be a fear of almost anything, but it's unreasonable given the objective nature of fear.
But fear can actually be healthy, right? A healthy fear of certain things is good.
Absolutely. It protects us, it keeps us safe. It tells us whether to take flight or to fight, if you will, sometimes freeze. And we've been in a state of fear since the pandemic started. And that's both functional and a problem.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. The difference between phobia and real COVID-related fear.
So real COVID-related fear is caused by all the constrictions that we've had on our way of life and all the data that keeps coming at us. And even now that things in many parts of the world are better, we're still seeing it pop up again in other parts of the world. So it's a very uneven set of threats. And then there's things about that are not directly related to COVID. Going into the work, how will I take care of my children? There's also new fear. It's great news that children 5 to 11 can now be vaccinated, but it's another cause of anxiety, even though you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. The trick, not the trick really, but the way to judge whether something is a fear or a phobia is, do you work your way out of it with new data? So for instance, if you were afraid to go inside to dine in restaurants and you're now in a part of the country where it's okay as long as you're vaccinated, do you get more comfortable after you've had a few meals out? If not, you might be experiencing a phobia, but also is it a sense of freezing up before you go in the restaurant that doesn't get better? Is it really interfering with your lifestyle? Does it make you afraid to go outside at all? So again, is it extreme?
Because fear of the unknown is something I think we all kind of struggle with, but how do we stop it when it starts becoming phobic?
Well, ahead of time, you do things like mindfulness and meditation, which kind of is like a circuit breaker to the brain and to the amygdala and the limbic system. It just kind of calms us down, right? You also practice pragmatic optimism, the belief the future will get better over time and you can be part of that. You also practice fact-based decision-making. So one of the things to do is really look at the facts you're considering. Are they facts? Are they from legitimate organizations such as yours, right? Or are they just rumors, right? If you're getting it off of social media, it may be accurate or not, but you don't know that. So you want to go to legit resources, sources that you can actually trust. And then say, is there really information, data that's saying I should be this afraid of whatever it is that's concerning me? If the answer is yes, it's a natural response. It still may be dysfunctional, but it's not a phobia.
Well, do you have any tips or tricks on when we are in a situation and we are having to face our phobia, how we can make it through without complete fight or flight?
Well, unfortunately, right now it's hard to get a therapist because we just have a short supply, which is another problem, part of the pandemic. But basically, you want to desensitize yourself to it, right? So you might, if you're afraid of restaurants, you might just go for a walk and not even go near a restaurant, just go for a walk. And then a couple of days later or the next day, go for a walk down the block from the restaurant. And you just want to get closer and closer to the source of your fear or what you're afraid of until you're desensitized. And that's what a trained therapist would help you do, which is always the preference. But also, as you're doing this desensitization, right, which you may have to do on your own in this environment, you also want to do some meditation. You can meditate while you're walking, always on the sidewalk to be sure. But if you're doing walking meditation towards a restaurant, and again, I'm not saying we should be afraid of restaurants, just giving an example,
right?
Or flying. I mean, the flights are back and packed. We're now having people come in from, Europe and places like that, which is terrific progress. But it's also a source of fear. And after all these months of being told that flying was dangerous, you couldn't fly, there may be some kind of phobic response there, which again makes sense, right? Doesn't mean you're going to have a long-term problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain this and hopefully lessening that mental chokehold that fear has on us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be with you, Emily.